Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to our webinar today. My name is Ahmed Hassan. I'm the marketing lead for Octane Marketing, and I'm just going to do a quick introduction to what we're trying to do here, and then introduce our speaker, and then hand over to him. So quickly, before we begin, let me tell you what we're doing here. This is a webinar based on our annual e-marketing outlook research report. This is the third year running that we did this research report. We did one in, as you can see, in 2011 and then in 2012. So today we are going to be presenting the top highlights from our latest research. So also, as you can see on your screen, there are multiple channels in which you can engage with Octane Marketing. This webinar, of course, is just one of them. We are present on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, SlideShare, and also on YouTube, where you will find many resource videos for email marketing. So now we'll move forward. Like I said, this webinar series is one way of engagement. This is the first of a series that we are planning to do. The next one is on the 15th of February 2013. You can register for it on our website, octane.in/octane_events. We'll be sharing the URL with you post the webinar, of course. You can also sign up for our newsletters on our website, www.octane.in. So now before we actually, I hand over to Mr. Puneet Modgil, let me quickly give you a walkthrough of the platform that we're using here. As you can see on the right-hand side of your screens, there'll be a navigation bar. In the minimize mode, as you can see, it will be like this. If you click on the red arrow button, the orange arrow button, it will open up to something larger, wherein you have multiple options. You can minimize or maximize the screen size. You can also raise your hand, and to submit a question, actually, you can raise your hand. Right now, we've closed that particular aspect. We might open it later, depending upon how we're doing on time. Okay, so without any further delay, let me now introduce our speaker, Puneet Modgil. Puneet's interests span India, internet, and inclusion. He is the co-founder and director for Octane Marketing. He has served in leadership positions at Microsoft India, Oracle US, Civil Systems US, and NIIT India. Clearly a very, very experienced person, and we are very lucky to have him lead our particular department, our particular domain. And for this particular webinar, the insights that he brings and the way of analyzing the results that we've seen, all the information that we've gathered. So I'm looking forward to a very interesting, powerful 30-minute webinar. And now let me hand over you to Puneet Modgil.
Thank you, Amar. For folks, just give me a quick minute here. What's happening here is that in Delhi, we've had a spell of winter, and some of you sort of may get a different voice than you're used to for Puneet Modgil. My apologies for a bit of cold that I have here. And what we did this time is of course, we had some different format changes to our annual report. But we also said, let's start engaging before we have the webinar go live. So we asked many of you to post your questions to us, and those questions are with us. So we in fact have questions for the speaker even before the speaker has started the webinar. That's very interesting. What we did was we looked at many factors, what marketeers were considering in India for the investments in 2013. But this year we also combined that with a consumer outreach. So we reached out to consumers and got them to share with us, specifically in the area of mobile usage, what they're looking for. The hashtag for this webcast is hashtag OctaneIn. So please feel free to share this with your friends. And we may not be able to answer all your questions and queries in this particular session, but please start using the hashtag, and we'll try to respond back to you for all your questions and queries even after this particular webinar. So what was the research participants profile for 2013? You may have noticed about our last 2 years, we've gradually grown from 250 India marketeers in 2011, the first year we did it, to 380 marketeers. And this year, happy to report that we have 500 plus participants from 412 companies in India. across the national breadth and so we have companies from various sectors. We do have a bias towards the online companies in India with online presence, specifically with 72 pure e-commerce plays. That's about 17% of our total participants of the 412 companies coming from e-commerce. Understandably so, because they are the heaviest users of e-marketing, which in our definition for this research includes web marketing, SMS, social media, mobile, and email marketing. So this does not include still the 95% spend in India in media and marketing, which is around print, television advertising, outdoors, etc. So there's a heavy bias for this research report towards e-marketing channels, digital marketing, online marketing, and perhaps that's something we need to address next year. We have reached out to a fairly significant number of people, 500 plus participants. After we deduplicated and removed the errors of entries, we had 499 participants. 36% of them are top managers. We define top managers as vice president or above, and 43% of mid-level, which is directors or above. If you combine these two together, we have almost 80% of our participants for the research report coming from the mid to higher level management circles in India companies. How are they faring across sectors? So again, a bias towards retail, where we include e-commerce companies, and some of the other online but not e-com companies, we include them towards services. So there's a heavy bias of the research participants profile towards retail and distribution, services and consulting, followed by ITES, media entertainment, and of course, just for the information factor, BFSI is at 8%. So that's the research participants profile. As I shared with you this year, in addition to reaching out to marketeers for our research project, which started in September, October, and finished by November, we also reached out to about 3,000 mobile users in India, across India, to get their perspectives on how will mobile usage be different for them in 2013. There is a heavy bias in that 2,895 mobile users who participated in the research project with us. There's a heavy bias towards a younger sort of demographic of 21 to 34 years in that research project. But we have combined these two together this year for the first time. So that gives us sort of a more comprehensive view of what the marketeers are looking to invest, and then mobile being the sort of most talked about, mobile marketing and mobile growth in India being talked about. We said let's also include some of the mobile users' perspective to see where are the gaps, if there are any. Moving on to the sort of how useful was this report last year. So we asked also the users, the survey participants, the research project participants, that how was the 2012 report sort of useful to you last year? And 52% of them said, I don't know which report are you talking about. So clearly, we reached out to newer segment of marketeers in India. We scaled up. So understandably so that there are newer people who have sort of given their feedback, shared ideas this year. But if you look at the 2012 report, how useful this was for other folks, there's a wide variance. Some of them have said it helped them understand the importance and challenges. Some of them have said, for example, that this unveiled the need and importance for ESP, email service provider, email marketing done externally versus internally. And of course, you can find access to these reports and much more at our URL octane.in/research. If you have not signed up for our newsletter updates, that's where we update our subscribers on which are the new research reports available. So let's come back to the research findings, which is the reason why you're here for. And let's look at what's currently happening. So 5 trends emerge. Social media clearly continues to be gaining more momentum with the marketeers in India, and they'll invest more. We'll discuss this more in detail. Email marketing is not going away. It still continues to be the most ROI-driven marketing channel for marketers in India. We'll explore this in a little more detail. Integration and segmentation are 2 challenges that marketeers are going to invest and target more and more in 2013. Mobile marketing, we'll discuss how this is panning out, but these 5 are the broad trends which we saw resonate with most marketeers across various segments. Let's get into this in detail. So social media continues to surge in 2013. And when you look at the number of respondents this year who have said they will increase their sort of investments in 2013, that number goes up to 65% from 37% last year. So there's a huge momentum towards social media investment in India. It's still in a pretty much an experimentation stage, but we're seeing investments rise in the social media investment space in India. It's followed by email marketing, which this year narrowly though edges out search marketing. So we're seeing that email marketing will see a lot more investments on priority number 2 after social media, and on third would be search. If I continue on the same multi-channel approach, that integrated approach that marketers are saying in India and how it pans out in terms of relevance, in terms of ROI, the popularity of social media is gathering huge momentum, but email marketing continues to be an effective marketing channel. And the staggering 99% of all respondents said that their email programs were effective in 2012. So a huge momentum towards continuing with investments towards email marketing that we have seen in 2012 and which will continue in 2013. Of course, there's a bias to the report. We reach out to folks who are our customers, prospects, sort of stakeholders. So there's a certain bias, but still that number is quite a huge number. 75% of all marketers believe that in 2013, up to 50% of all email marketing messages will be consumed or viewed on mobile phones. Again, something you have noticed around you in terms of consumer investments in India, consumer behavior in India. Mobiles are making a lot more progress in India. You've seen how mobile internet has sort of gained momentum in the last 6 months in India. The dichotomy here is that while the marketers themselves believe that up to 50% of their email marketing messages will be viewed on a mobile phone, only 40% of them are ready with their mobile marketing strategy or programs to address how their email marketing should be viewed on a mobile. So there is a gap there that we probably have to address as a marketing community in India. Up to 94% of India marketers are planning to adopt one or more segmentation techniques. So this is where we're seeing a distinctive difference this year, that more and more marketers are looking to do segmentation. It's no longer spray and pray. We've seen this trend grow in the last 2 years, two plus years. But this year, I think this is where most marketers are saying they're getting more and more serious about segmentation based on various factors, but we can discuss this in more detail. And promotions and behavioral triggers are most popular reasons. So promotions to promote a new product, etc. Behavioral triggers could be a post, etc. that triggers the e-marketing campaigns in 2013. So they'll continue to be the most popular reasons for triggering campaigns. Once a week, mailing has seen an increase of 14% from 2011 to 2013, with the most significant 38% decrease in daily mailings. So clearly the marketers have realized the potential of reducing the number of postings or mailings and then thereby seeing an increase in the ROI, which is a very positive sign because this also correlates with what the consumers are telling us. So significant drop is 38% decrease in daily mailings. So if you have your management team which wishes you to sort of start doing emails daily, there's a data point that you can use here saying that most of them will be moving towards once a week mailing. A positive jump in integrated campaigns from 31% in 2011 to a hugely projected 49% in 2013. So marketers have realized that these are all channels through which you have to engage with customers, but you do have to do integration of the campaigns that can cascade across many channels. So marketers are planning to do a lot more integrated campaigns in 2013 than as an intent that we have seen earlier in the years. If I was to now share with you some of the highlights of what we have received from consumers during our outreach to the mobile users, this is different from how you see telcos in India, telecom companies in India sharing with you the usage patterns. This is what the users themselves have articulated in a research project to us. It was a team of 7 of us, and we reached out to Delhi, Bombay, Pune, Bangalore, Kolkata and Hyderabad, and we got their feedback. So these are folks who have articulated themselves, consumers in India, across income groups, across age groups, and across education groups. So Facebook updates, not going away. It's the #1 activity for most of our mobile users. SMS with friends, 73%, 74%, and using email are the most popular activities. Surprise, SMS is not going away. We as a marketing community may not have leveraged the power of SMS the way we should have. Perhaps there's a lesson there, but clearly SMS continues to be still the second most popular activity for our mobile users in India. 90% of the respondents experience unwanted calls and spam messages, and with 47% of them receiving them at least once every day. If there's one takeaway from my half an hour or 20 minutes of presentation to you would be to take this message that we are spamming a lot in India still, and our consumers are telling us. So we have to look at what's the frequency and what's the opt-in communication we're doing. So 90% of respondents for consumer mobile users receive unwanted calls and spams, with 47% of them receiving them at least once every day. So good news, the consumers in India want to receive updates from their favorite brands. 78% of the respondents said yes, they would like to hear from their favorite brands, and 28% want to hear on a weekly basis, and only 13% want to hear from their brands daily. 41% of them want to receive emails for updates, and 37% on SMS, with only 16% want to hear on a phone call. So if there's one data point you need to stop that telemarketing campaign or telesales campaign, this can be one. Respondents who received offers on email were more likely to make a purchase compared to SMS. So we asked them a question that if you were to receive a promotional message opt-in from a brand, and which channel are you more likely to sort of make a purchase based on the offer you received from? 42% of them said if I received an offer on email, I'm more likely to make a purchase, compared to just 33% for SMS. So it's not going away. Emails and SMS, they're combining together to create that potent outreach for consumers in India. And we are seeing that sort of email marketing is not going away. Social is taking momentum. Segmentation is one of the marketing techniques that will see a lot more focus with marketers in India. We've seen how mobile is one place where the marketers in India are ramping up. They may not have everything in place. And we also saw that the efficacy of social media continues to grow, though efficiency and effectiveness is still something which is where there'll be a lot more investments this year. With that, these are some of the highlights I shared. Now, report is a comprehensive 40-page document, and we'll be sharing some of the snippets over the next few weeks more and more with many of you. But I've just tried to sort of paint the picture in terms of what it looks like right now. We have comprehensive reports on inbox deliverability. We have comprehensive reports on what are the spam factors as identified by marketeers. But I just thought I'll share with you on a very holistic, broad highlights level, what are we seeing here. I had a pleasure to host a CMO sort of roundtable workshop last Friday. We had 59 top executives, senior executives, and CMOs from Delhi region in that workshop. And there were discussions around marketers' role and CMOs' leadership journey. But those are different topics we should discuss perhaps on a different day. So, a brief plug for Octane. What do we do? 300 million plus opt-in mailboxes, email boxes served every month, 120 plus brands, offices in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, and San Francisco. This is easy. This is good for folks who are joining us for the first time. Privately held, profitable. 40 plus. We have 42 full-time employees and a whole host of contractors, and we are hiring. We are voted as one of the top tech 20 startups, hottest startups in 2012 by Tech Circle's annual review. What I like about Octane when I speak to marketers is the flexibility it offers in terms of on-site deployment, which is on-premise, or purely online, which is what's the most popular usage, and how you can sort of integrate the two together and create a hybrid version. So there are 3 variants of the same technology that can be used. With that, let me go to question and answers. This is the time for you to ask us pointed questions, more specific towards the research, but we're happy to take any of the questions that you may have. You'll have to raise your hand, then type your question, and then we'll be able to take your questions and respond back to them. If you can't answer your question immediately today, we'll still try to resolve or come back to you and resolve the query you have within the next 48 to 72 hours. Hashtag is OctaneIn. You can also tweet us about your question, and we'll try to sort of answer that back. So we have questions coming in. Let me get started. So there's a question. The question's also queued up from the registration page. There's a question from Anupam Kalia from BNP Paribas. With a very low budget, how companies can market their brand effectively with the help of e-marketing? Anupam, that's a long discussion, but clearly there are examples of companies like yours which leverage the power of e-marketing. The good thing is when you have a low budget, you can only do e-marketing, and on e-marketing you can measure and monitor everything. So what I would encourage you to do is to look at how effectively you can try out various methods and measure them and see what works for you, but we can have a more detailed discussion on this later. There's a question from Amit Kumar at SOS Children Villages International. Do you have tips for sustainable marketing scenarios for non-profits? Yes, we do, and in fact we work with a lot of non-profits, and in fact one of the things you may find interesting, Amit, about Octane is that we have a program called Community Connect, through which we offer our services to select NGOs and non-profits and associations in India at no cost, zero cost, complimentary services. You can look it up on Community Connect page on octane.in. We're happy to work with you on that, and if you have specific queries around it. Harpreet Ahuja has a question from Mahindra Satyam. I'm very excited. This is more of a comment. I'm very excited about the upcoming marketing sort of trends, and would definitely like to love to in line with the shift in the marketing trend. Harpreet, e-marketing is growing in India phenomenally. We are seeing a 30% plus jump in the marketing investments in e-marketing across the board. So it's the right place for you to sort of double click more and get to learn more. Sunil Damle from Central Bank of India. What does the research say about services sector, banking in particular? How can banks effectively do e-marketing? Well, Sunilji, this is a great question. I think the BFSI segment is sort of waking up to the potential of e-marketing. If I look at my data, we are seeing a substantial shift in how BFSI is engaging to start sort of doing campaigns on e-marketing. We've seen that shift from SMS, purely SMS, to both SMS for transactional updates to now also email promotional campaigns and affiliate marketing. So when you look at the services sector, there's a huge growth because we also combine online services in our sort of segmentation for participants. But banking in particular is sort of getting up to speed in terms of using e-marketing techniques or channels. Let's face it, if you're a bank or an insurance company, you have consumers who want to reach out to you through multiple channels. And you want to be able to address their queries, so that's clearly beginning to happen. We are seeing that insurance companies, because of the demand pressure that they have, are more leveraging e-marketing. Many of them not doing in the right way. We've had instances of spams being flagged, affiliate marketing gone wrong. But these, in my view and experience, are things that are sort of taking shape, and it's still emerging this is still early area for banking and insurance companies. So we should see a lot more sort of coming there. What can we expect as a satisfactory open rate for mailers in 2013? And this is a question coming from Wasim Momin. Well, it depends on how good your list is. We have seen open rates. If you look at open rates as an open rate of what we have sent out, total number of email campaigns, or open rates as a rate of what are the opened, so what are the sort of total email volumes. So open rates can vary anything between 15% to 28%. For e-com companies, we have seen open rates as low as 7%, given they have more frequency of updates on a daily basis. But we'll have reports coming out soon on the open rates, click-through rates on a quarterly basis. So please sign up, Wasim, and we'll be able to update you. Starting this quarter, we'll start producing reports, sharing with you, everybody in the community, on the open rates, click-through rates, unsubscribe rates, social sharing rates across the sectors. We also have partnered with many other ESPs in India as a community to see if we can include their volumes also all up to share some of the trending with each one of you. With spam becoming a big issue in the Indian e-marketing scene, do you think e-marketing is on its way out in the medium term? This is a question from Nandita. Spam is an issue, and let's not remove that from the table, from the discussion. But we are seeing a lot more companies realizing the potential of good e-marketing and moving away from spam. In fact, Octane started as a company 5 years back, but it's 3 years back that we started seeing more and more action and traction in India. The central premise for Octane is no spam. So we don't allow any spamming or any non-Octane marketing communication to go through our channels of or platform. And we're seeing that now. I would still say largely you're right, Nandita, that you still see a lot more spamming in India for e-marketing, but we are seeing a significant shift. So I would say now up to 20% of all marketing communication in India on e-marketing are Octane communication, which is a huge change from a few years back where it was 100% spamming. I think the marketers also have realized that if they don't leverage the channels very effectively, like we have killed the SMS channel, regulators have to come in and throttle the channel and put into place regulatory compliances issues. For example, if you want to do a promotional SMS campaign now, minimum cost per SMS is 25 paisas or more. So there is a significant move towards marketers themselves calling for self-regulatory or code of conduct kind of practices, and I'll be able to share some of this in our newsletter update with you. Then we have a question from Dr. C.P. Kamble. He heads a series of hospitals and is saying, how does e-marketing help us increase our market share and penetration? These are broad questions which we can try and answer, but we've focused on the research report. All I can say to you is, Dr. Kamble, we have extensive resources available which will help you in terms of resources online on Octane's website or on the YouTube channel. And if you have a specific query on which is the channel to look at or which e-channel to evaluate or how do I look at the ROI, we're happy to help. Let's see if you can take one last question before we wrap up. And there's a question from Lead Grow Consulting, Chandrasekharan Krishnamurthy, Chief Consultant. He says, can social media overtake TV and print media as the main medium of marketing in 2013? However, I wish this was true. The question is in the context of India. Less than 5% of all media and marketing spend happens in online technologies right now, despite the huge growth you see. So still print, television, these have the largest domination in terms of marketing spend. However, having said that, from the engagement perspective and the ROI on the investments, yes, marketers are looking to allocate more and more of their investments in social media and e-marketing techniques. So there's healthy growth there, but as the main medium of marketing in 2013, not there as yet, because we have a larger set of India, 800 million consumers who don't have access to e-techniques or e-marketing techniques or e-marketing channels. So there'll be some time before it sort of takes off. My guess is SMS and mobile are the secret weapon there to sort of make this as a larger medium for marketing outreach and engaging with consumers in India. Let's see if we can take one last short question before we conclude a session for today, the webinar. Okay, Tanuj Verma writes from Burko's Restaurants Marketing Manager. What is the future of e-marketing in India? Will it slow down like e-commerce websites offering discounts online, which brought a boom in India? When talking about e-marketing, what solutions and options do you suggest for F&B and FMCG sector? Well, we can have probably a webinar just on this topic because yes, the e-commerce websites have sort of gone through a consolidation phase. But we are seeing a lot more growth in e-marketing. The questions we get, the interest it generates, everybody has seen the social and power of social in India, in the Indian context, with social revolutions around us, with some of the good campaigns coming to fruition. So I do feel that F&B and FMCG sector also can leverage the power of e-marketing. I cannot specifically talk about the channels because we are short on time, but we can take this offline if you have specific queries and we'll be able to address them. Well, we've enjoyed talking to you today. This has been sort of our sharing with you. Clearly, this is not enough, and some of you will request for more. So we're happy to share with you some more insights from our research report that you would like to see. I would request to you that keep talking to us, keep engaging with us, and if you have specific questions that we haven't answered in the paucity of time today, we're happy to take them later with you. Of course, there's a next webinar planned for 15th of Feb. This is already on the Octane website. You can file your questions, you can submit your questions even for that webinar, which is almost a month away, and actually a month away, and then we'll be able to address those questions and take your questions there as well. We are on Twitter, we are on web, we are on YouTube, but let us know how you found this webinar to be. The challenge was in half an hour we have to do a lot more justice to the detailed report that we have generated. As said, as we had promised to you, we'll pick up the first top 10 logins for today, and we'll be sharing a copy of the report. It's a $999 report. It's a 55,000 rupee worth of report. We'll be sharing 10 copies complimentary with the first 10 attendees to the webinar. And we're happy to take any questions that you may have offline and respond back to them. The hashtag for Twitter is hashtag OctaneIn, and you can actually post us questions there. Great, thank you very much for being on the webinar, and we look forward to your support and your questions to make this even more worthwhile in the series to come. Thank you so much.